is doing some sterling work now. She's been out on the grid. She is trying to banish away this rain. We sincerely hope it does work, as Fabio Quattro makes his first mistake of the weekend, dropping his ice cream tub. Let's hope this is the only mistake he makes of the weekend as well. Nothing that the riders and the teams can do, of course. All they can do is wait patiently and hope that we do get a break in this torrential rain. Pre-race, it was looking very, very good for Ducati. They had 2 bikes in the front row, 4 bikes that qualified in the top 6, including round 1 winner, Anaya Bastianini. We've already heard the thoughts of the Catanova rider, Jack Miller. Let's pop back down to Simon, who's got sporting director Paolo Ciabatti with it. Down to you guys.
Yeah, I was just saying to Paolo, we've been talking a lot about conditions and that already. What I would love to hear from Paolo's point of view is your 8 very impressive Ducati riders, you know, some rookies, some very experienced. I'd love to hear your thoughts on each of them if you have time.
Yeah, sure. I think we have plenty of time. Let's hope the race stops pretty soon and we can have a race today because so many spectators and the president of Indonesia is here. So we must have a race, I think. What can I say? I think we were impressed positively by all the riders, obviously starting from Enea. You know, he did a fantastic job in Qatar, riding impressively. It's his second season in Moto GP, but for sure, to be able to qualify good and then to be so strong in the race and make no mistakes was amazing. Unfortunately, if we talk about Pecco and Jack, obviously Pecco had that crash. You know that we were trying a few things during the weekend, so probably our riders lost a little bit of confidence. So they couldn't really feel comfortable on the bike, and from Jack's side, unfortunately, had an electronic problem, so our fault. Here, I think we saw that we had 7 riders in the top 12, and the 13th rider is another Ducati Bezzecchi. So, I mean, all of them super fast. If we go back to Bezzecchi and Marini, I think they showed here that they can do very good, especially Marco is impressive here. I think Luca was very good during the test, but also for him, being on a 22 bike, he lost a little bit of confidence in Qatar, but he's getting it back here. And was for Gian Antonio, wow, Q2. So Fabio is also a rookie, which is doing very good. And obviously the Martin Zarco, we don't have to say much because they have been so strong all over last year and they continue to be very, very strong here, starting from the first row. So I think we will have a wet race. I think it's probably in a way better for us because if they do a shorter race, 20 laps with Fabio Quartararo, I think it would be very difficult if I can get a good start because he had an impressive pace on dry conditions. This condition, I think, will help us a little bit more. And then we see, obviously, rainy condition always a kind of risk and gamble. But all our riders are very comfortable in these conditions. So looking forward to the race.
Paolo, through testing, winter testing, it looked like you had found a fast, you never stopped developing. We see that. It looked also that the riders lost a bit of confidence, as you said. I can imagine soon that bike will be better than the 21 bike, but have you found the direction now, do you believe?
Yes, as you know, there are 3 different options of Ducati engines available this year. There is a 21 version, which is what the Gresini riders and Bezzecchi have. Then there is what we call hybrid version of 2022 with some features of a 21, and this is for the 2 factory riders. As spectators may know, the factory riders, you can choose one engine for both riders. On the independent team, you can use also different specs for different riders. But Jack and Pecco have this hybrid version, and then we have the 2 Pramac riders and Marini on the 22. I think the 22 showed here that is as good as. Hopefully, there is some room for improvement, but I think the main problem was because we were trying a system that was probably not yet mature, as you can say, to be used in the race. So once the riders, we decided to go back to something more standard. In Qatar, riders had lost a little bit of confidence. So I think here we went back to a more normal setup, and the results prove that this is the right direction. So we have time during the season to bring it to the race something new.
Paolo, last question for you. In the future, I'm thinking if that engine is faster, the 22 engine, and we get to somewhere like Austria and you've had time to develop it, do you expect it to start to shine there?
As you know, once you make a choice, it's made for the whole season, no? So we have to stay with the selection that has been made. And obviously, we think, honestly, to be totally transparent, it's so difficult to improve an engine like the engine we were using last year because it already reached a very high level of performances. So obviously, engineers always try to do a little bit better, but sometimes the difference is really small. So it goes back to the feeling of the rider on that engine more than on the actual performance.
Paolo, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks to Ducati Lenovo team manager Paolo Ciabatti with Sam Crepa. We just saw there is the president of Indonesia. That's how big this event is for the nation of Indonesia. Mr. Joko Widodo present, hopefully to see some premier class race action here. The local announcers are doing their best to keep the fans entertained. We've just heard them now, I think, just singing the national anthem. Of course, this was a man who rode with 20 riders on that special parade in Jakarta, which Lewis attended. Gave us a real insight and a real flavour into just how popular Moto GP is in this part of the world. It's great to have Mr. Widodo here present for what we hope is going to be a landmark and milestone day for Indonesian motorsport. A landmark day, of course, in MotoGP as well. We talk about how Spain is kind of the European heartbeat of the championship. I think very much the rest of the world heartbeat, but MotoGP is very much in this Southeast Asian nation. They love their motorcycle racing. Marc Marquez flags waving, unfortunately. When we do get underway here in Lombard, we will not see Marquez in action. I've got to say, they're doing a pretty good job of keeping up their spirits, Lewis, here, because we've had a pretty lengthy delay. We should have been underway in MotoGP nearly half an hour ago now, but the crowd are still enjoying their day out.
Yeah, I guess they'll say if we had to wait 25 years for Grand Prix motorcycle racing in the Premier Class to return to this country, what's another couple of hours? Pol Espargaro starting. When we got on the plane to fly out to Indonesia, we certainly didn't expect Pol Espargaro to be lining up 16th on the grid for this Grand Prix. Of course, the changes to the tyres, Michelin bringing this stiffer construction of tyre, the different casing to deal with the heat that we were expecting here in dry conditions, has certainly caught Repsol Honda out. Pol Espargaro was fastest on 2 of the 3 days at the pre-season test here back in February. Really, really competitive in just about every condition on all days, but Espargaro, once we arrived here in Indonesia, hasn't been able to enjoy the same kind of feeling at this Grand Prix. I was rather critical of Michelin, of course, Michelin on Thursday here at Mandalika Circuit, so you can understand their bike simply wasn't made for tyres like the ones that we have here that haven't been run since Buriram in 2018, and it's simply called Repsol Honda out.
Yeah, just a little update from some of our Indonesian colleagues who've been messaging a media group that the MotoGP media keep involved in. And apparently that lady who we saw on the grid was what they call in this part of the world a rain handler. It's a term for people in Indonesian society who are believed to be able to control the rain or the weather. Generally, rain handlers control the weather by moving clouds. They usually use in big events such as weddings, musics and concerts. Well, let's hope the rain handlers manage to handle this weather. That's a great embrace between two men who've done so much together to bring this sport that we love to a country that loves our sport, MotoGP. Dorna CEO, of course, Carmelo Espeleta, embracing and having a conversation here with Mr. Joko Widodo, the President of the Republic of Indonesia. These two men, of course, have worked tirelessly behind the scenes for weeks, months and years to bring MotoGP back to Indonesia. There were 2 Indonesian Grand Prix at the Central Circuit near Jakarta back in 1996 and 1997. Popularity of MotoGP in Southeast Asia has ballooned and rocketed over the last 20 years or so. I remember going to Malaysia and Sepang when Sepang was first built back in 1999. They struggled to get 10,000 fans through the gate. Now you can get 150,000 fans coming to Japan. It's always great to have international races, to bring the sport to new audiences, to bring the sport to where they love Moto GP. Of course, we race in Thailand, we race in Malaysia, we race in Japan, in this part of the world, and we're hoping that we get to race in Indonesia in 2022 as well. Stick with us, be patient.
It's been one of the regrets, hasn't it, amongst many of the last 2 or 3 years, of course, with COVID-19. Not a lot to go out to everyone who's been affected over the course of this pandemic, but of course it's prevented MotoGP to come into places like Sepang, and of course we're waiting later in the year to go to Tegi and to Bora, as I was mentioning, Philippines, very, very popular venues with very, very passionate support. Well, we're hoping to be able to return to later in the year.
Has Fabio Quartararo stolen your flip-flops there?
The right size feet.
He does like the old rascal clobber.
Yeah, although I think given the size of my feet, my shoes more resemble canoes, which would be quite useful actually in conditions such as these. I think I'd be well set.
It's not, I think that's what you need.
Well, here's an on-board line with a different set of the pertama Mandalika circuit. You're inside the safety car, heading into turn 1. You can see on screen the standing water still on the circuit. Difficult to really tell from this camera angle whether the conditions are easing or not. Just popped out of the commentary box around 10 minutes ago and the rain was still falling very heavily indeed. But they're trying to clear some of the water, do whatever they can, of course, so that once conditions, if they do improve to the stage where they can go racing, the track conditions don't take too long to sweep up and clear some of that standing water away. So they're really working round the clock here to keep the track in as good a condition as possible. So once we do get notice that a race start could be possible, that quick restart procedure, that 15-minute start procedure, can be commenced.
Yeah, I'm trying to remain optimistic, Lewis, as we always do in the commentary box here in MotoGP, but all those hills that we can see off in the distance around this magnificent Mandalika circuit, at the moment you can't see them, as such is the heavy cloud cover. The local authorities, the local organisation, as we said, they're doing their best to keep the fans entertained in the grandstand. This is Frank Lloyd Chini